Now, yesterday, Obama was focused on infrastructure. That's the liberal talking point. Infrastructure. We don't spend enough money in this country. We need to invest in infrastructure. He said this at the Camp David press statement, where he was meeting with some of the Arab leaders and some of the inbreds, may I say, with all due respect. Cut 8, go.
We are a growing country with a growing economy. We need to invest in the infrastructure that keeps us that way, and not just when something bad happens, like a bridge collapse or a train derailment, but all the time. That's what great nations do.
That's what great nations do. And how would he know? What happened to all those taxes you pay every time you fill up your car or your truck? That's supposed to go into the Highway Trust Fund. Well, just like the Social Security Trust Fund, it's essentially non-existent. They already stole all the money out of these trust funds. Barack Obama just hasn't spent enough, you see. We had this stimulus program where $9 billion out of over $800 billion was spent on infrastructure. You know what, folks? I'm just going to be honest with you. If he were the CEO of a company and he lied to the stockholders and the investors and said, look, we're going to raise $800 billion for infrastructure and $9 billion went for infrastructure, he'd be serving time in the same cell with Bernie Madoff. Yes, he would. To hear his arrogance, this is what great countries do. Do what? Keep passing bills where you claim money's going to be spent on infrastructure and then fill the coffers of your political allies and your front groups? Cut 9, go.
The first Republican president, a proud native of my home state, named Mr. Lincoln.
Hold on a second. His home state is Illinois? I thought it was Hawaii. No, I know it's Illinois. Go ahead.
Even in the midst of Civil War, was looking at how we join the country together through our railways and our...
All right, let me educate this fool. And he is a fool. Do you know why he was looking to join the country with railroads and canals? Because he needed to provide supplies to the advancing Union Army against the South. That's why he was looking to extend and build railroads and canals. Any idiot of history knows that. He wasn't looking to build infrastructure in the middle of the Civil War. He was looking to win the war. Got to listen to this clown every day? Excuse me, but that's what he is. Go ahead.
Canals. And we shouldn't be thinking smaller today. We need to be thinking bigger in this global economy.
Okay, let me think bigger. I have an idea. Let's pour billions more into the failing Amtrak system, where $80 million is lost every year on hot dogs, potato chips, and sodas, $7 million of which is stolen by the employees. $125 billion a year is wasted by the executive branch under this president. He's never asked about it. He never feels like he has to talk about it. $125 billion. Maybe if he wasn't such a loser, maybe if he wasn't such an incompetent ideologue. Actually, he's a competent ideologue. Maybe if he wasn't just such an incompetent, they could take that $125 billion and use it for infrastructure. And what is it about infrastructure that's so important? What do you mean, Mark? Well, Obama is dismantling certain infrastructure. You know, like dams, hydroelectric dams. He's dismantling them. You know, like coal mines in the coal industry. He's dismantling them. You know, our assembly line industries. He's dismantling them. He doesn't support infrastructure. Not in the least. He supports the EPA, which is at war with infrastructure. And he likens himself to Lincoln. Is this a joke or what? Lincoln. No, he's no Lincoln. He's Barack Milhouse Hussein Benito Obama. That's who he is. But he's definitely no Lincoln. But look how he twists facts. Look how arrogant he even sounds. Lincoln was building infrastructure during the Civil War. His transcripts. Here, I'll make a deal with Obama. I'll release my... what should we do, college or law school? I'll make it easy for Obama. I will release my college transcripts if he releases his. What do you think of that one, Mr. Producer? Now, I know I was magna cum laude. I know I'm Phi Beta Kappa, but that's okay. No brag. I'm sure he's smarter than I am. He's smarter than everybody. So let's do that, shall we? Because there he is, pontificating all the time, making a fool of himself. The problem is half the country doesn't even know he's making a fool of himself. This is really hilarious. Let's do cut 9 again, because Obama's talking as if Abraham Lincoln is a Marxist like him, working on the infrastructure in the middle of Civil War. He's expanding and building the railroad system to get supplies and armaments to the Union troops, you dummy! And same with the canals. Go ahead.
The first Republican president, a proud native of my home state, named Mr. Lincoln, even in the midst of Civil War, was looking at how we join the country together through our railways and our canals.
Now that's enough. This is just so pathetic. Pathetic. So you see, it's a question of infrastructure. It has nothing to do with infrastructure. Apparently, they already had the money set up to put in this alarm system, but they didn't put it in. There are some problems that they can't seem to work out. On top of that, alarm system or no alarm system, the guy's going 106 miles an hour into a turn. We now learn today that he actually began to speed up into the turn and then hit the brakes. What the hell's going on there? But his lawyer assures us there's nothing on his phone, so he must have been wide awake. And now we see through his social media, he's whining, he's a disgruntled employee, he's complaining about work conditions. Work conditions? You were the engineer. You were the motor man. You went into that curve at 106 miles an hour. 8 people are dead. God knows who else is hurt. Now we all have to hear about infrastructure. It's like rioting in Baltimore. Then we all have to search our souls. Get off our backs and out of our faces. You really have to have an open mind. You really have to think these things through. You know, a lot of people, they take on the party of their parents and their grandparents, and it's something that's preached at the breakfast table and the dinner table. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a this. And if you change, it's as if you're divorcing family members. When you're not, you're thinking for yourself. And you know what? Liberty isn't so obvious. It's obvious to you and me. Once you're there, the light bulb goes off and you go, good Lord, look at it. I can see the sun. I can see the stars. They are real. And you know, but the libs don't permit it. They just keep ramming their ideology, pushing it. You know, and there's different types of people. There are the ideologues, the elites, the dug-in entrenched who push the ideology, and then there's people who are followers. And in addition to followers, you also have people who are miserable. They're fanatics. And so what the liberals preach, they like. Your life would be great, but for the rich, but for this guy, but for this color, but for this, but for that. It's not your fault. And listening to this president, I just have to say that he's a moron. Oh, you know, Lincoln supported infrastructure during the Civil War. Lincoln was trying to win the Civil War, extend the railroad tracks, extend the railroads to supply the Union, to send them armaments, to send them more troops. Same with the canal system. He wasn't just building the railroad and the canals to create employment, you dimwit. That would be the president, your president, not mine. I impeached him a long time ago, out of my life.